right, Gage, you ready to intro this?
Yeah, let's do this, man. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to our... Hold on, let me start again. Sorry.
You get nervous.
I know. I get nervous. I get a little stage fright. What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Are We Recording NFL Running Back Rankings. Today, we are joined by our good friends Xavier, Fern, Dylan, and Magno. And as always, it's the young Rottweiler, Ethan Hamilton.
AWR.
And I'm Gage Sutton, 007. Thanks for joining us. Today, if you missed our quarterback video, we're going to be going down our top 10 running backs, aggregate of the whole group. Basically, we took everyone in the group's top 10 running backs and averaged out the scores. And today, we're here to reveal everyone's aggregate top 10. So without further ado, guys, are y'all ready to get started?
Let's get it.
But before you guys start watching, make sure to hit like and subscribe to our channel if you want to see us do like OnlyFans and fun stuff like that. Okay, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's kidding. I'm kidding. But like, subscribe, maybe.
Yeah. Or you know, go watch our quarterbacks video too, because that one is pretty good. So
yeah, our editor, Dylan. He's gonna put it on the screen right now.
All right. Well, all right, guys. So we'll start from 10, but before we get to 10, I want to start with some honorable mentions. So let's take a look at this. We've got. All right. Here are the players that received the least amount of votes, and then I'm going to go upwards to the players who received the most amount of votes. And basically the way that it works is if the player was ranked number 1 on someone's list, they get 10 points. If they're ranked number 2, 9 points. If they're ranked number 3, 8 points, so on and so forth.
And we let everybody vote however they wanted to vote, whether they wanted to do potential, whether they want who's best right now going into the year. So everybody voted different criteria. And
yep.
If there's a man that always votes in different criteria than the rest of us, it's Furnace.
Yep.
So if you're confused why some players are higher on this list, it's probably because Fern put them there.
I know ball, man.
We'll see about that, Fern. So we'll start with the number 1 running back who received the least amount of votes as an honorable mention is Dameon Pierce.
Hello.
We've got
Dameon Pierce. Hey, hold on. What's up?
What's he on the...
What are you doing, man? Lock in,
I'm at the house. Hey, Dameon Pierce. Hey, hold on. Hey, all right, you can come. Hey, Dameon Pierce. Hey, hold on. Hey, this is it. Hey, look. He was going to get 1,000 yards last year. He was gonna have 1,000-yard season, but he got hurt. And hey, we coming strong. But hey, CJ Stroud, Dameon Pierce, Tank Dell, hey Mechie, we finna fuck. Hey, we finna fuck the league up. Y'all finna watch, boy. Hey, watch. Hey, Dameon Pierce is Marshawn Lynch 2.0. Mark my words. Record this. You can put this on the Instagram. Dameon Pierce is Marshawn Lynch 2.0. Watch.
Dameon Pierce is that guy though. I can't hate on him too much, but I
he
think
had
it's just
he had the meanest run of the year.
It was not. My thing with Dameon Pierce is that he plays at Houston. I don't know if I can rock. Like I just can't do that.
But
I just can't do that.
Listen. We're going off running back rankings. We're not going off of.
You're right.
And we have a good old line.
No. Fern, I'm glad you put him on the list. But that's all he's gonna stay. He's gonna stay in dead last place because nobody here with common sense.
Watch.
As an honorable mention, right, man? Nobody here else put him top 10.
Watch. That's all I gotta say. Watch.
Yeah, so Fern, you're actually the only one to put Dameon Pierce in their top 10.
That's fine. That's fine. Watch.
But
because running backs they can't stay healthy nowadays. So watch. Well, we got a young running back. Watch.
Let's keep going down the list of some other running backs who are honorable mentions. Like I mentioned, Dameon Pierce with 1 point. We had Ramondre Stevenson and Travis Etienne also received votes.
So Dylan, man, why you have both those men in there?
I didn't have Etienne in there. I had Ramondre in. I'll say, and let me just say this real quick. Etienne and Dameon Pierce were like right outside my top 10. They were in contention for that 10 spot with Ramondre. I give it to Ramondre just because I feel like he is the best running back the Patriots have had in my lifetime. Because we've only ever gotten by with guys who were good in our system. You know, you take James White out of the Patriots system, and he's gonna be fucking doo-doo caca. You know.
So Ramondre's better than LeGarrette Blount.
100%. Yeah.
Hey, Ramondre, look, I drafted Ramondre in every league. Well, I didn't draft him, but I picked him up from free agency in every league. I acquired him, and Ramondre, I watched him play, bro. I know ball. I play football, and I have the eye test for football. He's very shifty, you know.
Man, you gonna let him get away with this,
bro? Ramondre is. Hey, Ramondre is like that. Hey, who's Dylan? He's like that. He's like that. I agree with you, bro.
So every single time.
Yeah, hold on. We gotta go kind of. We haven't even gotten into the top 10, guys. We've got to go through these honorable mentions pretty quick.
Let me make an addendum real quick though, because I will say
let's go.
Zeke did get signed to the Patriots.
RB1.
Fucking hate so much. So
RB1.
with that being said, I really might put Dameon Pierce in that 10 spot instead of Ramondre now. In terms of skill, it's Ramondre, but Ramondre's gonna have a bad season because Zeke's gonna vault.
Because the real running back finna show up, right? X. The real running back finna show up.
That dude's a fraud. He don't eat no more.
Fraud.
Shit. Well,
Mag don't know ball.
Okay, well,
You
Mag,
think Zeke's gonna eat?
Yes, Zeke is he's transitioned to a very good power back.
Yeah.
Am I lying?
that was so passive aggressive.
I just say yeah.
Am I lying?
Zeke
Mag,
did
every
not
single
receive
time.
any votes.
Mag, every single time Ferd says he played football, just remind the audience what position he played. Just in case they get-
Wide receiver.
Long snapper.
Wide receiver.
Nah,
Wide
he was a good wide receiver, but
in practice, right? In practice,
Always.
he was just hold it, but tell the truth, tell the truth.
Nah, Fur was cold. He got that one
I
catch.
was good. I wasn't bad.
Nah, Fur was cold.
Ask about me. He didn't ask about me.
All right.
I wasn't a starter because my starters were D1, but ask about me.
Got you, but you was all district long snapper though. That's what I'm saying. Have pride in that.
Hey, I'm good at whatever I do.
Okay.
All right. So let's get moving on because again, we've got a lot of players to go through. All right. We haven't even gotten through the top 10 or through the honorable mentions. So let me quickly just list these off. Others receiving votes but not entering the top 10. I'll go through them quickly. Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Jahmyr Gibbs, Joe Mixon, and Alvin Kamara all missed the mark.
Dalvin's a fraud. I'm waiting for y'all to figure this out.
I'm surprised Dalvin was in anyone's top 10, actually.
All right, watch out.
Hey, hot take. Breece Hall will be top 5 in yards if he's healthy.
Oh my God! Yeah, continue, guys.
Continue. When we get to Breece Hall, we'll let him spew his dribble.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Breece Hall is.
Go ahead. I like this. I like this.
Breece Hall isn't on this list. We could start with the number 10 running back on this list, though, and this is a guy I really love. It's Aaron Jones. He slips in at number 10, and I also have the highest and lowest rankings on these players. I had him ranked the highest as my number 5 running back, and 6 of 11 voters did not have him in their top 10, which I think is blasphemous, guys. Aaron Jones has been one of the best running backs in the league for the last 4 or 5 years.
He's pretty consistent.
That's the thing. Hey, look, Gage.
He is consistently.
You just said for the first 4 or 5 years. How old is he?
He's not that old. He still hasn't hit 30 yet. He's 28.
Was it 28, 29?
Yeah, I think he's 28.
Okay, but look at the average age running backs start falling off.
27.
That's what I'm saying. I'll give you this. Aaron Jones.
Look. This is Aaron Dillon's. Game now. He's RB1 now. Watch.
Okay, hold on. So
Aaron Jones gonna have a bad injury this year. Watch.
All right, can we not jinx players?
Yeah, let's not jinx Aaron Jones like that.
My thing with Aaron Jones is he is consistent. He's consistently mid.
Is.
Let's stop gassing
Stop.
him.
No. Okay, hold on.
He's consistently mid.
How's he mid though?
No.
Please,
The reason why I don't agree.
He's better than average.
I draft Aaron Jones in every fantasy football league, and he's been doing good for me this year. But this year, I'm not drafting him.
Because you
he's
know ball
old.
for it. Because you
Because
know ball
of
for
his
it.
age, right? He's so
But
old.
okay, but see, he's only 28, and I think you guys are wrong on Aaron Jones. And even for fantasy, I think he'll still be a good pickup because, yes, while he does share snaps with with AJ Dillon,
Who's passing him the ball?
okay, that's what I was gonna say. Is Jordan Love is a rookie quarterback. Aaron Jones is gonna be getting a lot of the carries this year. They're not gonna be trying to let Jordan Love throw 30 times a game like they were letting Aaron. They're gonna run the ball through Aaron Jones. He's gonna get a lot of looks out of the backfield. I think he's still gonna be a top 10 back in this league in fantasy and overall value.
I think Aaron Jones
He
at
could
a
be like
time.
15 in fantasy.
Aaron Jones in fantasy is a good fantasy back.
Yeah, he's
Fantasy's
like-
not real life.
Like I said, I drafted
Fantasy's not real life.
He's a good real-life back.
and he doesn't fail me.
He's mama
He's
mid.
never failed me.
Not true.
But he does not get touchdowns though, because they give the ball to Dylan. So,
hey,
but he's never failed me in any fantasy.
I don't know.
league.
I feel like
it's-
a couple of the honorable mentions I would definitely rather have than Aaron Jones. That's just me.
That's crazy because there's still guys in the top 10 that we haven't even gotten to who I would take Aaron Jones over. And let's actually
And
move
you would
on
be
to our number
smoking
9.
The finest. The
What's
finest.
nine? What's nine?
And we can move
What's
on to
nine?
our number 9 running back. Our number 9 running back was Tony Pollard.
Okay,
Severely
yeah.
underrated.
Yes.
Severely
No,
underrated.
severely
Very underrated.
overrated. How the hell did
Oh.
he land above Aaron Jones?
He's been better than Aaron Jones the last 2 years.
Okay.
Yes, he
Our,
has.
our
True.
pick. Our
Yes, he
pick.
has.
True.
Look,
Yes,
look,
he
listen,
has.
listen.
I'll give him one season.
Are we?
Tony Pollard's a top 5 back.
Did we pick going?
Tony
off
Pollard's a
of the
top 5
next
back when
season?
healthy. Yes, he is.
Oh, okay.
Did we pick
I
going
don't know,
off
man.
of the next season? Like going off of this following season right now?
Hey,
I was-
this is everyone's list, Fern. So like everyone, I guess, must have ranked it differently. But I'm going off of the idea that both
So
of
who
them
had him the
can be very
highest?
productive.
So who had him the highest and who had him the lowest?
Bro,
Okay,
Pollard is
Pollard was
definitely
in my
over
8th spot.
Aaron. Bro,
Yes.
Pollard is definitely over Aaron
Pollard's
Jones.
better than Aaron Jones by a lot. Tony Pollard's
It's
a top
not
5
true.
back.
Definitely not true.
not
He's
by
not a
that.
top 5 back.
Yes,
bro.
he is.
Come on.
Yes, he is. Let's tell the truth.
But
Let's tell the truth.
according to Travis, he is a top 5
Five
back.
back.
Travis has him at his number 4 back in the league.
Oh.
We're having
Meanwhile, me, Marcus, and Dylan all did not have him in our top 10s. And-
all right, you're smoking ganja if you don't think Tony Pollard is.
Dude,
there are way
smoking different.
There are way better running backs.
No,
than
they're
Tony
not.
Pollard.
Hey, no, hey, trust me. Hey, I promise you, Ethan, this is not Cowboys.
No,
hate.
I just think you're wrong. I don't think it's a Cowboys thing with you. I don't think it's a Cowboys. It's with
I'm
your
a
brother
big
over
Tony
there.
Pollard fan. I'm a
The
big
sickness
Tony
that he
Pollard fan.
has.
My problem is, I don't think Tony Pollard is sturdy, and I want to be wrong about this. I don't think he's sturdy enough to be RB1 and
Ooh,
workhorse back.
I
don't think-
disagree. I disagree. I
Nice.
disagree.
I want to be
He
wrong.
showed
I
it.
want to be wrong, but I don't want to like wish or even predict injuries on anyone. But I'm worried that if they continue to feed him the ball like they were feeding Zeke, it is not going to work out for him because who's going to help him out? Deuce Vaughn.
My thing is this: like when it comes to the Cowboys running game, they're gonna have different running backs to feed the ball to. Yes, he's gonna be primarily, but you act like we're not gonna use him the way people think we're gonna use him. Everybody
hope
thinks
not.
the
I
Cowboys
hope
are gonna
not,
push
but
him
you
like
guys-
that. No.
You guys are historically stubborn in your game plan, not adapting to the players that you have, just sticking to the same game plan over and over. Not only in Cowboys franchise history, but in Mike McCarthy's history. Mike McCarthy back with the Packers refused to adapt depending on what players he had. So I feel like he's going to try to play the game with Pollard the way y'all were with Zeke. I just don't
Yeah.
know if he can handle that workload. But that
I mean,
being
my thing is this. I get it because the Cowboys are kind of doing their Texas coast is what they're calling it, which primarily is going to be trying to take the interceptions away from Dak, right? Because you want to take away those bad possessions from him. So I can kind of see now they're going to put emphasis on the running game. So I do see those concerns. But honestly, man, I think Deuce Vaughn is there. I think Rico Dowdle was back
Vaughn
there
is
too.
nice. Vaughn is
Like,
nice.
I think they're gonna be nice, man. And Deuce Vaughn is gonna be shifty, and honestly, he might take some of the opportunities that Pollard has later in the season.
But okay, so
But,
this is
okay.
my problem. Hold on, Ethan. Before you go on,
I haven't even
this is my
got to
pro-
get
no,
on
no,
my
no.
Pollard take yet. I haven't even got
the thing
to.
is,
So
okay, hold on. Hold on,
let's keep it
Ethan.
to account. I haven't got to say nothing yet. Go.
Ethan, this isn't about anything about Pollard because I'm just speaking for Cowboys fans in general. You guys ranked them way too high. You ranked Dak Prescott as your number 3 quarterback on the quarterbacks ranking. Go watch that video if you haven't already, and go
I ranked
subscribe
him
and like the plug. But you also had Tony Pollard as a top 5 back when he doesn't have the production that all the top 5 backs have, or he doesn't have the consistency that a guy like Aaron Jones, Kamara, or some of the other guys you could have put on this list do. So, hey, I think there's a case to not have him in your top 10. But go ahead.
You better not switch this today. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my shit
Go
off.
ahead,
My
go
thing
ahead.
with Tony Pollard is he's answered every single question that has been asked of him in a Cowboys uniform. We asked, hey, can he be good enough to offer you something different than Zeke early in his career? He proved that he can. Hey, does he have better home run potential than Zeke? People that weren't Cowboys fans were telling Cowboys fans, yes, he's better than Zeke. When he first started, he was better than Zeke. Cowboys fans, including me, took a little while getting used to it. After his rookie year, I say he's better than Zeke. Every single year, he's answered the question, can he be a 3-down back? Last year, he answered the question, can he be a 3-down back? We saw him in a playoff game against the 49ers, like how good that run scheme is. And the Cowboys' offensive line has been overblown how good they've been the last 2 years. They're a middle-of-the-pack offensive line. They're not terrible. I'm not saying he's running behind a terrible line, but they're not one of the best offensive line. Tony Pollard is consistently among the league leaders in yards per carry. That is just a fact. That's a fact. And considering the amount of carries he gets, right? This is not Khalil Herbert. This is not one of those guys we're talking about. We're talking about a guy that's proven that he's the number one back. He's got home run potential. He's great out of the backfield. He's proven that he can run between the tackles with the best of them. And if Tony Pollard was playing in these great run scheme systems, a la like with the 49ers, like Christian McCaffrey is, we'd be calling him Christ Almighty. And in the last 2 years, how I base my list on, I think Tony Pollard's been a top 5 back.
Okay, as the tertiary, as the secondary Cowboys fan in this, because the pinnacle of Cowboys fandom is, of course, our man, our savior, Travis LaFall, who's not here, but that's our guy. But as the secondary and the backup and the replacement, I will say, I don't think there's a case for him not being in the top 10. It doesn't make sense to me logically, because we can go ahead. If
you don't say he's top
about
5 because because you don't think he's been consistent enough, cool, I'm with you. But top 10, he's for sure top 10.
He's for sure.
Not if you're leaving Aaron Jones out. Not if you're leaving Aaron Jones out.
He's better than Aaron Jones.
I don't leave Aaron Jones out.
I don't think he's better than Kamara.
Hey, I'm with you too, Magno. I'm with you too.
He's better than Kamara.
Oh, up for 1 6. Stop it.
Okay.
Nope. But hey,
Ethan, no, please, no.
I think Kamara is like for their career. I think Kamara is better, but I'm not judging him off for career. I'm saying the last 2 years, 3 years, have you been hurt too? He's been better the last 2 years. He's been better the last 2 years, and he's gonna be better this year.
Magno, don't let him talk you into this.
Oh, I'm not. It's just one season.
If my thing is what happens when because I guarantee it. What happens when Pollard comes back this year?
I'm not worried.
From his injury, has over 1,500, 1,600 yards all purpose. Probably makes another Pro Bowl appearance, and the Cowboys are in the NFC Championship.
You're not even confident. You said probably.
You're not, dude. You are.
Yes, I am. I put it down. An our recording bet. An our recording gentleman's bet. Tony Pollard's gonna have more than 1,500 yards all purpose.
No.
We're gonna see.
All right. Huzzah! I guess we'll find out. Now, okay, so Ethan, you're going based off of the last 2 years. Our next guy doesn't have 2 years to go off of because this is going to be his first season in the NFL, and he is our number 8 running back going into the 2023 NFL season, and that is Bijan Robinson, who was ranked number 2 by Marcus, the highest rating he received, and the lowest rating he received was not on the top 10, and that was Magno, Jason, and Dylan, who all did not have Bijan in their top 10. Dylan, you have a agenda you would like to push? This is your time.
Y'all make it so easy to root against people, man. Y'all make it so fucking easy to root against people when y'all just like overblow people. And you know, there's a certain fan base that does it a lot, but we won't talk about them, right? Certain fan base that like overblows it, but it's about players too, okay? Y'all did this with Kyle Pitts.
Put a name on that bullet. Put a name on that bullet.
The fucking Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys.
You got some bitches. Ooh, put a name on that bullet next time. Quick, running for the smoke.
Hey, just so you know, the Patriots want to be America's team so bad.
I know they want it so bad.
They've been wanting that badly.
Thank you, man. They've been begging for it. Please, can it be
Just the early 2010s. Please.
Have some shade.
Pay attention to us.
In the last 20 years?
and all them been Fugazi. All of them.
All of them.
Hey, Mag, let's put the diamond tester to the light of those rings. Let's see the
I'm
real.
about to say, look,
I just don't hear anybody
got
calling
the flat
fake when they go,
footballs and all.
you know?
All right, deal. Go ahead.
Anyway, y'all make it so fucking easy to root against Bijan because I loved Bijan coming out of college. I thought he was gonna be great with the Falcons too. What, Mark? You said Mark put him at 2?
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
No.
Here's the thing. Like, why are we forgetting what system he's going into? One, it's the Falcons, poverty fucking franchise for as long as I've been alive. Okay, off to a bad start. Arthur Smith, who is a great head coach. I like Arthur Smith. Okay, maybe not great, but he's a very good head coach. He just makes very questionable decisions when it comes to personnel usage. Okay, which leads me to my next point. Cordero Patterson has been proving people wrong for the past 2-3 years now.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, because he's fucking 37 or something, and he's still hooping. Okay, you want to argue he's on the back end of that hill? That's fine. You know who else they have? Tyler Algier, who is coming off of a 1,000 rushing yard season, and you guys are going to act like he's going to come in and be a workhorse back? No, Bijan is going to get receptions, and that's about it. I guarantee I will put money that Bijan does not have more than 1,500 all-purpose yards.
My thing is this, bro. You don't pick someone in the first round, especially as a running back. And
If he has more than 1,500 all-purpose yards, he's the clear-cut number 1.
No, I'm saying he's not. He's gonna have less than 1,500. He's not gonna even sniff 1,000 rushing yards.
Okay, say 1,200, but 15 is still high, bro.
Even 1,200, he's.
Well, if you're putting him at number 2, I'm expecting those kind of numbers.
I'm not defending the number 2. I'm not defending.
3 years ago, had a 1,000 yard year. Okay,
Marcus has a lot going on in his life. I don't know what made him make that decision. Wasn't that great? Wasn't that great of a choice?
That's fine, right? But again, you have Derrick Henry. You have I have Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley. They're all just significantly better because they've proven it, right? So that's my thing is if you want to put somebody in the top 2, top 5, top 10, I need around 1,500, to be a certified top 5. And who else had him that high? Because it was Mark.
I didn't have him that high. I had him at 8.
That's fine, but I still think that's crazy. I still think that's insane.
I don't rank rookies until after the first year. I want to see it.
That's not bad.
I gotta see the hype.
Kyle Pitts, man.
The reason why I do it with running backs because running backs time and time again have been proven that their peak is in their first 3-4 years of their career. I'll let Derrick Henry is the exception, but that's because Derrick Henry stunk his first 2 years in the league. And he got better later on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what
running backs have proven. But that's what I'm saying. Running backs have been proven that the beginning of the year. We're going to talk about some names on this list that have already peaked. There's a reason why I had them lower than others. I digress. But I think Bijan's one of those guys where this rookie season, we're not going to see the best of Bijan because they have Cordero, Patterson, and Algier. But make no mistake, by the end of the year, we'll know who 1A is. The reason why they drafted him 8th. Should they have drafted him 8th? No, not at all. But was it? I would have rather him go 8th to the Falcons than go 9 or 10 to the Eagles. Very much. So,
yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, no, y'all got me fucking shaking how mad I am. So y'all take. Y'all take.
Okay, so we're obviously. I think when everyone is putting Bijan in their top 10, they're going off of the potential of how good we know he can be. So I guess we'll just have to see if he can live up to those expectations. But next, we have got our number 7 player, and that is a guy looking for a contract right now with a young quarterback, and that's Jonathan Taylor, who had the highest ranking from Dylan, who had him at number 4, and he did not make J. Will or Nolan's list.
I still think he got to be in somebody's top 10, even though he has an insane old line. He got to be there regardless. He's consistent.
My thing with the difference between what's the difference between what Jonathan Taylor's producing, what's the difference between a guy like Tony Pollard? Because Jonathan Taylor had the.
Did he just lag out?
Yeah, he lagged out.
Yeah.
Well, it's okay, but it's okay because he was bringing it back to Tony Pollard. There's no reason to talk about.
You lagged out. Next, you lagged out.
Can you hear me?
Get better Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we can hear you, but you lagged out.
But let me explain why. Tony Pollard, not Tony Pollard, Jonathan Taylor, I feel like doesn't have enough underneath his belt. When we saw him have that year that he had amazing year, he had the best O-line in football.
I think he still
No,
does.
that's why I was like not even trying to like big bro you, but I'm your big bro, so I'll tell you.
Stop it, you little bro. Look at this.
But his O-line got dramatically worse. Like a bottom 5 O-line in the league last year. And Jonathan Taylor's production damn near reflected that. So my argument is going to be, I don't know which Jonathan Taylor we're going to see. Like, are we going to see the Jonathan Taylor that we thought could take the realms from Derrick Henry as the best running back in the league 2 years ago? Or are we going to see the Jonathan Taylor last year that barely scraped 1,000 yards?
Yeah.
Like,
and
that's why I don't get on the hype train of Jonathan Taylor, because I've seen multiple guys, Aaron Jones, right? When he's had a good offensive line and when he's had a bad offensive line, he's going to get you damn near 1,200, 1,400 yards all purpose. Right? Joe Mixon, a guy that I think is pretty good. Not great, but, you know what I mean? He's definitely declining, but he hasn't had the greatest O-line. But you know he's going to get touchdowns. You know he's going to make those carries count. You know? Guys like Kenneth Walker, Breece Hall, Tony Pollard that are ascending that of recent history this past year have been clear-cut were better than them.
Yeah.
They're very much better than him. And they can do a lot more than Jonathan Taylor. Not saying Jonathan Taylor's bad. I just don't know which one's the real one.
I was the one who actually had JT the highest, and I thought I was like being mean on him because I thought that the consensus was that he was still like top 5, and even though I had him top 5, I'm glad to hear most of y'all don't, because I thought he had his amazing year and people were putting him at 1, and I thought that was fucking insane. Now I'm like, okay, he had a bad year with a bad O-line and he was dealing with some injuries too. Okay, so I give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt. So maybe 4 was a little generous for me because I've always thought he's a little overrated. But I also like you said, we could also be sitting here saying like, oh yeah, he's just not as good as we thought he was 2 years ago. And then he could come back next year and do the exact same thing. I mean, my Patriots know all too well. He burnt the shit out of us, man.
My thing is, why do you have him at 4 when he only has 1 good year on his belt?
Again, honestly, I think that was me kind of looking too much at like community rankings and remembering that not last year, but the year before, I seen, maybe not like y'all, but I had seen like tons of people putting him at 1. So I thought that was like the general consensus, and like, not to say I was pandering or anything, but I was like, okay, well, I can't put somebody who's like a consensus top 5, what I thought he was, lower than that, you know? Also, I have my gripes with some of the people I have like higher on the list, like Saquon, where I kind of feel like it's the opposite, where Saquon had a great year and now people are willing to put him back in the top 5. And it's like, why? Because for the past 3 years, he had been
injury prone.
Yeah, so see, that's the thing. That's the thing about all running backs and about Jonathan Taylor too, is their careers are they're gonna have ups and downs. Jonathan Taylor had a great year 2 years ago, had a rough year this past year, and now he might have another rough year this year, going into first season with a new head coach, rookie quarterback, or he could really prove himself to be a top 10 back like he was 2 years ago. It's really just about how they respond, and I think 7 is a good place for Jonathan Taylor on this list, because I think it gives him some room to go up if he plays well, and for him, some room for him to fall off the radar if he has another rough season.
Yeah. Also, it just shows how volatile the running back market really is.
Yeah,
it's kind of just showing how, I know this video is perfectly timed because we're in the middle of this weird off season where it's kind of like how we watch. I'm not saying it's as drastic, but we watched the death of the fullback when we were kids. How we kind of stopped seeing, what is it, 5 yards in a cloud of dust, about old people saying, and we kind of started seeing the rise of quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, and how like the reason they played that way kind of killed the running back.
Yeah,
because they were so dynamic. And so, hey, it's 4th down. That don't matter. A-Rob's gonna drop 70 yards back, and
you have running backs at quarterbacks too, like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
All right,
and Lamar. Okay. That's not. I'm not gonna trash
I know
Jalen Hurts.
you're pushing this Travis LaFall agenda, Ethan, and I don't need it right now.
There's a reason Travis isn't here, and the fans know why.
And all right. So speaking of which, I think we can move on to our number 6 running back. Our number 6 running back comes from the Los Angeles Chargers, and he is a fantasy darling. Mr. Austin Eckler is our number 6 running back. Marcus had him ranked the highest at number 3. And Fern, you didn't even have him in your top 10. That's
Of
interesting.
course,
I didn't?
You did not have him in your
That,
top
and
10.
look, I was gonna put him on there, but like I had to put Damian Pierce. I was gonna put him at 10. I'm trying to predict these running backs fall off here because they don't last long. And I just feel like this is not I just feel like this is the year he's not, He was gonna be top 10 for me, but I had to put Damian Pierce. I'm a Texans fan.
I get that.
But he's
Sue
my
me.
fantasy guy though. I always get him in fantasy, and he does me good. I get him and Aaron Jones in my fantasy leagues, and they do me good.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I know it angers me because I always am the one who wants Eckler, and I always pick right behind Fern. And it's been 3 years in a row. I want you to know, it's been 3 years in a row where I've wanted to pick Eckler, and Fern's right in front of me. So hope's terrible. But also, if you're an Eckler guy, Eckler is a fantastic running back. He's dynamic, he's athletic, and he's one of those guys that has the speed, but also you can run him at the goal line. Try to stop him.
Yeah.
Do it.
See, the thing I like about Eckler is just his versatility out of the backfield. I like that he can go out and catch passes, run routes out of the backfield. I wish he was a little more dynamic as a runner, but I still think that top 10 is a good placement for him. Even though a lot of people will argue those are fantasy stats, I think at the end of the day, Eckler really does help the Chargers win football games, and top 10 is a good placement for him.
I'm with Fern on this, trying to predict somebody's like fall off year. If there's any year to predict Eckler's fall off, it's this one. He has been bitching and moaning about a new contract, so that means the Chargers and him are gonna part ways here soon. It's almost over, so they got to start finding a replacement. I know they have Isaiah Spiller, Joshua Kelly. They have some. I don't think either of those guys are starter caliber. Could be wrong, but I think they got to start looking at new options and how to base the offense not around him, so that they can be okay when he's gone, which I think is soon.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Chargers handle that situation. He's been a really big part of their offense for the last couple of years. But let's move on to our next running back. At number 5, we're getting into our top 5. We've got Josh Jacobs cracking the top 5, with Nolan ranking him the highest at number 3 on his list. And Marcus and Fern did not have Josh Jacobs in their top 10.
Oh, what?
I think Marcus's whole list is based off fantasy. Like, I'm like the way you're reading it to me is literally how a fantasy guy would draft them.
Yeah, because Eckler's at 2, Eckler's at 3, Bijan's at 2. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
Jacobs is not even ranked though. That's kind of crazy.
See, so Jacobs is a top 10 fantasy running back, and I think he is a top 10 running back in
real life.
Yeah. So to not see him in your top 10 is weird, but I understand why someone would place him outside the top 5. Like if someone has him in their top 5, I'm not mad at it. He has the production to prove why he's a top 5 back. But me personally, I just think that it's a little bit inflated by how bad the Raiders have been on offense, and that he's been mainly their only weapon when they can't throw the football. So that's my only gripe with Josh Jacobs. I think he's a really talented player, and 5 is probably, I think, where I had him on my list. So
yeah, I had him at 5. Dude.
I had Jacobs pretty high too. So I mean, I'm a Jacobs fan. I've always thought he's had a lot of potential. I always liked those Alabama running backs, and even though he's definitely, I think, a late bloomer, right? Coming into the league, he didn't really get the reins that I think he thought he was gonna get right off the bat. But I don't know. I like Jacobs. I think last year he really boomed, and I think he's gonna have another good year this year.
Fern, I'm low on Jacobs compared to most people, but granted, I'm just a Raiders hater because for years they've been trying to be the knockoff Patriots, so I just hate the Raiders. But Fern, I want to hear what you have to say about Jacobs since you left him off the list entirely.
Okay. Like I said, I like to.
Bro,
I need to see my.
young.
First of all, I need to see my. Let me see my list. Let me see
all
my
right,
list.
Fern, I can read you your list right now, actually.
I got my list.
Jacob's still young though. It's not even like a fall off year coming soon for him.
Yeah, so Fern, this is where I was
He's thinking of
confused with your
excuses
list.
right now. He's thinking of
this is
excuses.
bad. Yeah,
Fern
I think
had
he just forgot.
Fern had Dalvin Cook as his number 7 running back, which was weird for me. Then he had Alvin Kamara as his number 9 back and Dameon Pierce as his number 10 back.
That was bad, right?
AK is perfect.
I'm not gonna say who he had at 8.
Okay, what was what? But... Okay, name 1 through 10.
All right, so your top 10 were, or actually, all right, hold on. We should get through the whole show before we go through your top 10 first.
Okay, well, if Fern doesn't have much to say about Jacobs because he's not even sure what he thinks about him, let me say for him, my excuse as to why I think I even put him a little higher than I should have. I just, because again, I feel like maybe I'm not seeing the light. Okay, maybe I'll see the light soon. Maybe. But my thing with Jacobs, and I get, like, I'm saying this about a lot of running backs because I get their lifespan is short. So, like, you have to have a little bit of recency bias. But, like, before this year, what was Jacobs if not mid? Like, he was, what, barely reaching 1,000 yards every year, if that, right? Which is fine. 1,000 yards is a good, like, marker. I'm not saying, like, oh, 1,000 yards, whatever. But, like, it's whatever. And now what? He got, like, 1,500 this last year, which is great. But I'm like, it was 1 year. It was 1 year where Derek Carr had his lowest career year. Him and Devontae just weren't clicking. That defense was horrible, so the offense was on the field every single, like, 2 minutes. He probably got, like, 100 more carries than he has in years before. I need to see more.
Yeah, actually,
That's fair.
Surprisingly, I think of all of us in here, Ethan, I think you had him ranked the highest at number 4, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I think he was the best running back in football last year. All things considered, like, I know it was really not best running back. I think Chubb's still the best running back, but we'll get to those names. But he was definitely top 2 for me. I thought out of all the running backs, he was the most consistent. Like, through hella high water, he was, I think, the best player on that Raiders offense. Devontae was really good, but Devontae was very reliant on Ken Carr not having noodle arm this game and getting him the ball. You know what I'm saying? Yep. But Magno, as a Saints fan, you'll learn about Derek Carr very soon. Very, very soon.
He's looking good. I'm loving it right now. He's looking great.
He looks juiced. He looks juiced right now. Y'all see him taking snaps?
It's the culture. It's the culture. He gonna be just fine. But look, running back. I
think you gotta work out.
Look what the culture did to Zion.
Zion is he's not well. Look what he did to Breeze.
He's not well. All right. Yeah. We saw Breeze at the end of his career.
All right,
finally with O-line. Next, thank you.
No, but I think Jacobs definitely was like, because Dylan, I'm with you. Like, he was consistent, but he was consistently mid. Like the first couple of years of his career, like he was basically scratching 1,000 yards, not getting 1,000 yards. But it was like, I feel like this year he was like, oh, okay, like contract year, I'm gonna show you how good I think I can when y'all give me the ball, and he proved to me. I thought he was elite.
Can I say something about New Orleans? Either the gumbo is going to make you and it's going to break you. And look, man, it's breaking Zion right now. It's whooping him, but he's going to come back. But Derek Carr went there and said, I got to work out to distract myself because it smells so good outside. I got to stay in the gym. And I respect that.
That's why I'm loving it. So we're going to – respect it's. I think we get like a 14 and, 3 season. I'm feeling real good.
Hey,
all right, let's relax. That's a Cowboy record. All right, next one. Next running back.
All right, so now we're getting into our top 4, and honestly, if we had a tier, I think this is where the elite tier would start. Number 4, and honestly, I think you could have these guys in any order. I wouldn't be upset personally. At number 4 for the Are We Recording rankings, we've got Saquon Barkley. Yes. Nolan had him at number 1, which was the highest. And the lowest ranking he received was number 5 by Dylan, Marcus, and Jay Will.
That's still fair though.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not mad at where everyone had Saquon ranked. As I said, I think everyone had him in their top 5, and I think that's about right. If you don't have Saquon in your top 5 running backs, you're probably not watching football.
I mean, I only have. We're talking about tiers here. I only rank players off tiers. I only have 3 running backs in the elite tier. Like, I don't think I can run my team without them. There's only 3 of them.
I'm with you. And
that's how it works. And for me, Saquon's right on that border because of that lower body injury and because of that. But also, I'm a Cowboys fan. I hate the Giants. So, like, I love Saquon as a person. But in my heart, I can't do it.
No, my thing with Saquon is I think at his peak, right? I'm not going to be a complete hater here. I think at his peak, like pound for pound, at his best, he's the best running back in the league. My whole thing is, we have not seen his best since his rookie year, second year in the league, and that's why I'm hesitant to put him top 3 because yes, he's been injury prone, right? And when he's been on the field, he has been good. But also, those 2-3 years when he was injury prone, when he was on the field, he wasn't that good. Like, let's just keep a spade a spade. Like, he wasn't that good. This year, I thought he was a lot better. His best year in recent years since his rookie year. But it's always like, will they, won't they with Saquon? Will he be healthy? And when he's healthy, is he not good or is the O-line not good? Like, which excuse we're going to use? And I think people have a hard time. I can see where why he would have him so low. It's like, when are we going to give Saquon some blame for not playing well? You know what I'm saying? And I think he's getting older. What is he, like 28, 20, 27, 28? He's getting up there 28. Where he's been in the league for a minute, Saquon. And we're still waiting on him to have, like consecutive years, you know what I'm saying? Where he puts it together. Because he just put it together for a whole year.
He's only 26.
Oh, so you might... That's my bad.
I think we got a couple more years out of Saquon. I think we literally have... I got to give him a lifespan. I think we get Saquon to his 28.
Yeah, because I'm in that boat of like he's young and he has a lot left in the tank, but also injury-wise, he's had a lot of injuries for a 26-year-old running back. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm a Zeke guy, and Zeke never got hurt, and he's basically done. Like Zeke had 3 years where he was a top 5 running back.
Yeah,
3-4 years, and then what happens? You, as a running back, you get 3 or 4 years at your peak. Whether you hit your peak in the middle or at the end, you get 3 or 4 years.
Pause.
That time doesn't change. Like, that's how it works. So I'm really good at football for 4 years, and then guess what? Now I'm the backup to a guy they drafted just now because I tore my ACL because every running back is hitting the knees. And it's sad. It's true. But you can't run a team like that anymore when you got Mahomes making $315 million.
Yep. Yeah. And the running back position is a lot of fun because when we revisit this list next year and when we create our list for next year, Saquon could climb this list. He could be at the top of this list, or he could fall off of it completely if he has a bad year. So that's always the fun thing about the running back list. One guy who's been a mainstay on these running back lists for, I feel like, as long as we've been watching football now, is our number 3 running back. And it's Derrick Henry for the Tennessee Titans, who we have at number 3. The highest ranking on him were Magno, Jason, and Travis. All had him at number 1.
They know ball.
The lowest ranking on Derrick Henry was Marcus, who had him at number 8, which I think is crazy disrespected.
That's not a real
Derrick
list.
Henry.
That's not a real list.
I want to see Marcus's full list. Dude, this is just gonna.
Marcus, I wish Marcus is here to defend it, man. He got to defend it in the comments.
Fantasy, because Derrick Henry's not a good fantasy running back. So dude, that's great. Are we exposing Marcus for only knowing fantasy football right now? This is great.
Nah, but even then, though, like.
So see, this is the thing about Derrick Henry is I could understand why you would put him lower on this list, even if we're not looking at fantasy. Maybe outside of the top 3. Maybe if you put him at 4 or 5 or 6, that's fine because he is getting older. He's had a lot of heavy usage seasons under his belt. So that wear and tear could show in, this season, next couple seasons. But going off of his track record, how is he not a top 5 back? He has been the most dominant running back for feels like almost a decade. I know he hasn't been here that long, but it feels like he's been playing for
a running back decade.
For a running back decade is what I say. Like running back decade. How long has he been playing? Like seriously. When did he get drafted?
He's in the same 2016, the same year as Dak and them. Dak
Okay, so almost 7 years. And can you tell me that he's been one of the best running backs all 7 years? Yeah, no, I would say he's in that conversation.
The first 2 years of his career.
First year was horrible. Second year was better.
But year 3, but year 3 on, I'm with you. But year 1 and 2, he was not even a top 15
but again, back in the league. You got to remember, time moves differently in the world of running backs. So 5 years in the elite, right?
Agree.
So that's my thing. Is like y'all remember that clip of fucking stanky white boy on ESPN about Tom Brady, where he was like, I think Tom Brady falls off after. Yeah, thank you. Tom Brady falls off after this year, and that was like in 2012 or something. It was like this crazy, horrible take that people have been saying that about Derrick Henry for every single year for the past 3 or 4 years. They've been saying okay, yeah, he had his peak, now it's all downhill. and he consistently proves it. Gage, you can vouch. I was a big Derrick Henry hater. I was like, I think he has one move. I think he just like, oh, I run now, and that's his thing. But he's been proving us wrong for 3 or 4 years now.
Yeah, his one move is like, oh, I'm black. Let me run people over, right?
I didn't say all that.
Any grown man that when he runs the ball, Derrick Henry is dribbling helmets off the floor. Like, you know how sick you got to be as a corner to see a 6'3", 240-pound guy turn a corner? Like, that's such a sickening. Like, oh, I'm about to come down here and kill Tannehill. And as soon as he hands off that ball, I give up. I'm making a business decision. I'm gonna go lay down somewhere.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's near the top of list of players I would hate to tackle in the NFL.
Gage, who else had him outside of the top 5 other than Mark?
Let's see.
Because we gotta get the list because this is insane. Like, okay, if you're doing it off of predictions and you want to argue that he's not going to be top 5, that's like, I mean, not top.
I think definitely he's not at his best.
No one had him outside of their top 5.
Okay, good. Except Mark.
Okay, good. So the rest of us watch. So the rest of us watch football. That's good to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Derrick Henry, our number 3 running back. Let's move on to our number 2 running back. And I feel like we kind of knew who 1 and 2 were going to be. I feel like these are the ones that a lot of people were kind of swapping on their list this year. Our number 2 is Christian McCaffrey. I had him at number 1. Marcus had him at number 1. Dev and Jay Will also had him at number 1. And with the lowest ranking on Christian McCaffrey, Ethan, I'm going to let you take the floor because you had him at number 6. And that is absurd.
Number 6?
Christian, for me, it's very simple. Very simple. I've been consistent in this. Come on, let's keep up. Christian McCaffrey, it's the system. When he was in Carolina, before he got hurt, I'm with you. But his back end years of Carolina were not that good. He was injury prone for the last 2 years he was in Carolina, right? That doesn't fly with E guy. That don't fly with big sex. Okay, and not on my channel. And now he's with the 49ers, and for much of the year, it took him a while to get going. He didn't start off the year like this, right? But I'm not saying he did get it going. He did get it going with the 49ers. But I think a lot of it has to do with the system. This is not the same Christian McCaffrey we saw with the Panthers. That Christian McCaffrey, I'm with you. That's top 2. That's top 2, top 3. I'm with you. This one, it's the system. If you put a bunch of these running backs, these slender running backs in this 49ers system, they take off. That
doesn't change who Christian McCaffrey is.
Yes, it does, because I think him, the player, has definitely fallen off from what he was with Carolina.
I just haven't seen. This
isn't the same Christian McCaffrey at Carolina. Just because he's doing it in the best run scheme or the second best run scheme in football doesn't change the fact that I see him. I see him.
So Ethan, let me tell you this: I'm actually not upset at your reasoning for putting him lower on your list. Yes, he has been injury prone. Yes, he benefits from being in a run heavy and a system that knows how to use running backs. But I guess just to tie it back to your list personally, you have him at number 6. The guys you have in front of him, besides the one guy who's our number 1 on this list, we'll get to him in a minute. You have Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and Tony Pollard ahead of Christian McCaffrey.
All those guys you put him in that 49ers system, they all do better than Christian McCaffrey. All of them. See,
I'm not mad at that take. But I kind of am, because when Christian McCaffrey wasn't in the San Francisco offense, he put up 1,000 and 1,000 in Carolina.
When was that?
2 years ago.
That's my point.
But I mean, we did the same thing for Jonathan Taylor. But Christian McCaffrey brought it back this year. And before he went to San Francisco, he was having a good season with Carolina.
But he didn't even do it for the whole year with San Francisco. That's my point. Even with San Francisco, he only did it towards the back end. Even towards the back end, he was not otherworldly. Like, he had otherworldly games, but he also had games where it was like he was there.
I don't want to be the stats guy, because the number 1 running back is my favorite running back in the entire NFL, and I know this, so that's fine. But McCaffrey hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since 2019.
Yeah.
So why are you putting top 2?
We were in high school. We were in high school. I don't want to make that joke yet. I had just ended puberty. Come on, bro. What are we doing?
I just started it. I just started in 2019.
I was just sneaking into my room to watch Game of Thrones without my dad watching.
That's my problem with Christian McCaffrey is Dill. I'm gonna let you because I know you're spewing up there. My thing is X is telling you the cold hard facts. Christian McCaffrey hasn't had 1,000 yards since 2019, and I'm not even you gotta run the ball to be the best running back in the league. Even though to a certain extent you have to, but dog, he hasn't had 1,000 yards since 2019, and he's been hurt for half of those years, and he's in the best run scheme in football. And you want to, like what Travis said, you want a cookie for that? You want a cookie for that?
And the best football player.
Let's keep it a buck. There's mad running backs that they were. We seen it with the 49ers. 49ers pick random guys off the street, undrafted, and they doing what Christian McCaffrey is. But now they got the name that Christian McCaffrey has, so he top 2. That's all I'm gonna say.
Exactly. And they have the best football player in the entire NFL. One of the best ones as a left tackle.
Dak Prescott?
No. Stop it. He is up there.
See, you guys are sick in the head. Sick in the head.
Trent Williams.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Williams.
bro, I can't even entertain that one.
No, Trent Williams is one of the best football players to ever walk the earth at sitting at left tackle. And all Christian McCaffrey needs to do is follow that man's number. That's all he needs to do.
Okay. I actually liked a lot of your reasoning, E. I do agree that system is just insane. Let's ask Gage. 2019 NFC Conference game.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. They pulled a Walmart cashier who just so happened to run 26 miles an hour. And look at what Raheem Mostert's doing in Miami now. Nothing. Okay.
No, he hasn't even been that bad in Miami. He just got hurt.
Yeah, but he's never reached what he did in San Fran, right? But I'm saying that system's fantastic, right? Because Kyle Shanahan is incredible. He can make gold out of fucking coal. It's crazy. And I hate Shanahan as a person. God, he's a great coach. But my only thing is if you want to say what you're saying about Saquon, which I'm with you on Saquon 100%, about how he's only had 2 really, really, really good years. And one of them was in 2019 when y'all just ended puberty. I was starting that shit. Right. CMC doesn't matter. The system is always producing. Again, you can say he hasn't had the 1,000-yard seasons. That's because of injuries. But even the 1,000-yard seasons, I mean, I guess this is an argument against Magno, which I was going to bring this up earlier. Your boy, Alvin Kamara, man, never, not once, 1,000 yards.
I know.
But that's our point. We do it with Kamara, but now because half a decade.
You know how we play Kamara though. We don't really, he be going for the screen.
Okay, that's my point here with CMC is, I mean, you want to call a spade with Saquon, call a spade with CMC. It doesn't matter how he's doing it or where he's doing it or what system he's doing it. He's producing always. So I think he's not even top 5.
But he hasn't. But we're acting like he's producing at a 1A level. He's not.
He is.
But he's not though. We're seeing the guys that are producing of recent memory of the past since 2019, since he got that 1,000 yards. There's guys that are producing a lot more. Jonathan Taylor has produced a lot more than him. Derrick Henry has produced a lot more than him. Nick Chubb has produced a lot more than him.
Maybe Derrick and Chubb. Maybe Derrick and Chubb. That's about it.
Yeah. So I'm with you. And X was saying he does it by tiers, and he has a clear tier of elite with only 3 guys. I agree, except it's only 2. I only have 2 guys that are elite running back. I think it goes who our number 1 is, which we're taunting it as if everyone doesn't know, but we'll say it in a second. And Derrick Henry. Those are the top 2. And then it's big gap. CMC, Saquon, JT, Josh Jacobs,
Tony Pollard.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna see this. Y'all gonna see X. They playing with our boy. They playing with our boy. They playing with our boy. But that's my point. But that's my point about CMC. I feel like I've been pretty consistent. Is that a lot of those guys? You put them in that Kyle Shanahan system. They doing the same thing, and a lot of them are doing better than him. A lot of them are doing it better than him. We just haven't seen the fall off because the minute he got injured, right? We gave him a pass, cool, injured. Then he got injured again. All right, cool. Twice in a row, cool. Availability is in question, but we're not gonna question your ability, so to speak. But then he starts the season. He doesn't light the world on fire. I'm not saying he's terrible. He wasn't terrible with the Panthers, but he didn't light the world on fire and was a top 5 back. He wasn't. He went to the best run scheme in football and started looking like a top 5 again. because of the run scheme. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I think Christian McCaffrey is severely overrated from that aspect.
He's still got to make the runs though.
Yeah,
he does.
And that's the thing is in defense.
That's why I didn't take him out of top 10.
Hey, in defense of Christian McCaffrey, and why I think he's still a top 5 and why I think he's a top 2 running back is because, yes, Ethan, like you said, San Francisco has a very good run scheme, but Carolina was also in a very big rebuilding phase, and they were leaning on him as their only option, and again, led to some of his injuries and I think some of his non-productive seasons. But all right, well, I guess we could stop stop beating around the bush and get to our number 1 running back, because I think everyone kind of knows our number 1 guy is Nick Chubb. And Ethan, Fern, and Dylan all had him ranked as their number 1. And the lowest ranking that anyone had on him was Nolan, and he had him at number 6 on his list.
He's smoking the finest of ganja.
There's a lot of people who are smoking ganja for this ranking for the running backs, I will say, because I think that's the thing about the running back position is I feel like outside of the quarterback and the receiver position, the running back is one of the ones that I feel like we also get very personally attached to, and we create these biases. So I had Aaron Jones in my top 10. Ethan had Tony Pollard in his top 10.
But I speak the facts, though.
Furness had Dameon Pierce in his top 10. So guys, at the end of the day, we're here to discuss football. We're not here to end each other's careers. Yeah. But I'm glad to know that between all of us, we have Nick Chubb as our number 1 running back, because it makes sense. He has been one of the most consistent and one of the most dominant players in the league for the past, I think, 2 or 3 years. And he's done that with having to split carries with Kareem Hunt too. So I really don't know what else you could say about it.
He did it when split carries. He did it when he had no quarterback. He did it when he had semi-quarterback in Baker Mayfield and semi-quarterback in Deshaun Watson. Like he's been the consistent force that he's been there. You know what I'm saying? Nick Chubb gonna get you 100 yards in the tub, easy every game. He gonna get you that.
And then after the game, he hasn't been hurt. This year he was semi-hurt for a little bit, but for the most part, his entire career he has not been healthy. In contrast to guys like CMC and Saquon, that's why I have him higher than those two. It's maybe their peaks might be higher. I'm not gonna argue with that, but he's been so much more consistent throughout his career that I just prefer that.
Nick Chubb's just an old school style running back. I listened to his interview earlier because he was on the Pippen podcast with Ryan Clark and all them. Like, they're wonderful show. And he was kind of talking about the fact that the only reason the people who watch football, we appreciate Nick Chubb because we know how special he is as a player. But to the outside world, this man doesn't do interviews. He doesn't talk to cameras. I didn't know he spoke. I just thought he was like a football machine. Like, I was like, yeah, they just load up this guy and just hand him the ball. It's crazy. He had Deshaun Kaiser handing him the ball, and he had 1,200 yards. Like, you know how crazy that is? Like, the guy whose mom was in Friday was handing this guy the ball, and he had 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns. So, come on. Like, we watch football. We love this guy. It's awesome to see, like, pure football love because, like, we are fan bases who hate each other. Like, I want Gage's fan base to burn to the ground, but we both can agree that Nick Chubb is literally the best running back in the league, and that's special. That's a special player that can do that.
And to me, he has been. He has been for the past 2 or 3 years, like for sure. And the crazy thing is, you could even make an argument before that, right? But for the past 2 or 3 years, not only has he been consistently amazing, carrying that team on his back, he's been splitting carries with Kareem Hunt, who is a very solid backup running back. I might even make an argument that he is a starting caliber running back still. But the point, you look at a lot of his numbers are skewed because those touchdowns are getting hawked by Kareem Hunt at the very end. There are a lot of plays per drive that Kareem Hunt is taking. Derrick Henry, who in the hell has his backup been in these past 3 years? Dontrell Hilliard, what the fuck is he doing?
I can't even name a backup on.
That's what I'm saying. Dontrell Hilliard had 5 carries all year. the fact that he's doing it with somebody that's on his ass it's levels, because Saquon hasn't had any competition, Jacobs hasn't had any competition, CMC hasn't had any competition. Like it's been him against Chubb or against Hunt, and he's still just peak performances every time, man.
Also, to elaborate on my tier list, there's the three who are the elite running backs. It's Chubb, Henry, and Saquon. McCaffrey's not my three. Just because, again, like I'm saying, McCaffrey hasn't had a 1,000-yard season since I was 18 years old. and also, if you watch him, I hate to say it, Ethan's right. We always give this guy excuses. Oh, he's playing on the Panthers this year. Oh, he's hurt. Oh, this is his first year without Cam. Oh, this, and that. Like, my thing is, if you put Saquon in the 49ers, he has 2,000 yards. He doubles McCaffrey's output if he's healthy, right? You put Chubb back there. You put Eckler back there. You put Pollard. You put Pollard back there.
All right. I knew he was gonna get brought in. I just knew it was coming.
Y'all playing with Pollard with TP name. Another guy too. I know you mentioned his name. That's one of my biggest running back what ifs. Is what if Kareem Hunt didn't get himself in that dummy situation and he would have stayed? Because you forget he was there the years before Mahomes got there, right? And he was on fire with Alex Smith and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. He fits that offense so perfect, because we keep talking about him like drafting Clyde Edwards-Helaire and it being a bust. Even though Damian Williams was robbed of a Super Bowl MVP, he wasn't really that workhorse back, like a top tier. But Kareem Hunt, if he would have stayed in that Chiefs offense, like, Kareem Hunt would have been that guy. Would have been that guy on Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. That's the tragedy of the running back. Like, if you notice, every single team we've named that has an elite running back doesn't have an elite quarterback.
Yeah, no, but that wasn't because of Kareem. It wasn't the
well, I mean, I don't think it's not. I don't think it's not, because teams are going to be a lot more willing to replace a running back that does some stupid shit because they can replace him with anybody. You know, if Mahomes goes and kicks his wife because she called him, the word, then it's warranted, and it's like, okay, this bitch has been asking for it for as long as we've known her, And I'm not gonna get too started on the politics of it all, because here I am arguing for my white boy CMC.
You want me to save you?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
I was gonna let him drown in it. I was gonna sit there. I was gonna let him drown.
Drown for a second, for sure. No, but I'm with Dylan X from that perspective. He was definitely much more expendable being a running back for them to be like, all right, well, we got Mahomes coming in. I'd rather not mess up this whole thing before it gets started with this dumbass Kareem Hunt situation. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, a perfect example was his quarterback last year. Deshaun Watson did what he did, allegedly. We got to make sure we say allegedly, and got $230 million guaranteed.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Regardless of how I feel about that situation, if me and Gage don't got the money to be sued. So.
There's 3 L's in the word allegedly. Let's spell it out. A-L-L. But yeah, man, like, running backs are expendable, and it's sad because there's a bunch of kids playing running back right now in college that are looking at this world going, I don't want to be a top 10 running back. I'd rather be a top 25 wide receiver.
Yep. Shit, a top 50 wide receiver still. Because
dog, Cedric Wilson got so much money for being a slant man. That's all he does.
Yeah, Hunter Renfrow makes the same amount of money as Derrick Henry. Food for thought. So
speaking about running backs, Gage.
Running backs.
Okay, since he won't do it, if you guys liked our running back and quarterback episode, our wide receiver episode is going to be coming out next week. Gage, we're podcast host. You got to catch it live when I throw it like that.
Oh, Ethan. Hey, this is you doing a transition, huh? I just knew. It's just kind of new, so.
Yeah.
No, but Ethan's 100% right. Wide receiver video coming out soon. Quarterback video already out, so go check that one out. I guess any last thoughts on our running back rankings? Do you guys want me to go through the list one more time before we go?
Yeah. Why don't we
run it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, guys. So our top 10 running backs consensus for our recording. At number 10, we have Aaron Jones. At number 9, we have Tony Pollard. Number 8, Bijan Robinson. Number 7, Jonathan Taylor. Number 6, Austin Eckler. Number 5, Josh Jacobs. Number 4, Saquon Barkley. Number 3, Derrick Henry. Number 2, Christian McCaffrey. And our number 1 running back for our recording for the year 2023 is Nick Chubb, running back for the Cleveland Browns. Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate you taking some time to give us your support. Leave a like, subscribe, and we're going to leave Fern, Dylan, Magno, and X's Instagram, Twitter stuff in the bio, in the description. Go follow those guys. Check out all their content. And
horrible takes.
Yeah, leave your horrible takes on, or hey, let us know about our horrible takes too. Let us know in the comments who you think is wrong, who you think is right. And thank y'all so much for joining. We really appreciate it. For our recording, it's been the Young Rottweiler and 007 Gage Sutton. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.